last week was confidence suckers. This week it's about confidence builders. What's your thoughts on that?
Sounds good. So last week we talked about maybe a few misconceptions in how confidence works and covered, some of these things that can really hurt athletes and how they think about confidence. So this week, let's cover, all right, now we understand it. What do we do to build it?
Yeah.
What are some actionable steps?
Yeah. So it's going to be some good content in here. Feel free to go back over it a couple of times if you need to. I do that a lot with things, so it's very helpful. You're not going to get everything the first time, all right? So, Look, just diving straight in, some of the content, we're going through three main points. First main point is practice a lot to get your confidence up, but practice a lot with a quality purpose, quality plan, and record it.
Yeah. So everyone knows is like preparation is the key to confidence, and it takes a lot of hard work to appear effortless. And you see that stuff sort of put out there a lot, but then it comes down to the actual execution. And so this starts like a long time before you get to training. You need to really prepare and be intentional about what am I going to achieve in this training session? What goals and things do I need to work on? So it's like quality prepared practice is what we need to be working on if we're going to start building some confidence.
So, people may say, oh, well, that's a bit obvious, isn't it? But there's a lot of people that just are not going to put in the mental energy into planning out a quality practice session and then having the mental energy to execute on that time in, day out. So that's why we're putting it first and foremost, because it's going to be like your bread and butter of the confidence building cycle.
Yeah. And what a good plan does is like the human mind is like designed to always be evaluating plans. It's like a plan evaluating machine. And if you have a very average or poor plan in place, your mind isn't going to give you a lot of motivation. You're probably going to procrastinate. You're not going to turn up ready to go. But if you've got something really solid to execute and you're like, all right, this is what I need to do today, your mind is more likely to give you the motivation and like sort of the juice that you need to get that sort of stuff done. It's like, all right, I know exactly what needs to be done.
Yeah. And look, life being reality, you're not going to feel amazing every day. So first step is turn up, right? I give people big points for just turning up day in, day out. It does go a long way, but then it's not really going to cut it if you want to be best of the best.
Yeah, and this is why really good coaching can be helpful, because what a coach does is it provides an athlete with a structure and it gives an athlete good direction. This is what we're working on today. This is how we're going to do it. We're going to break it down, 30-minute blocks, hour blocks, give you feedback. And what that does, maybe without the athlete realizing, is building their confidence because they're doing quality intentional practice. So the coach is there to provide this sort of structure if the athlete maybe doesn't quite realize the importance.
That was beautiful, Flo, because that's our second point, which is get yourself a good coach or good coaches, depending on what you're doing. It sounds like we're kind of like, yes, we're coaches, we're pumping our own tires here, but it's really the truth. Like, if you want to get somewhere fast, get yourself a good coach. They make a massive difference. Sometimes they'll be nurturing your belief levels when you don't even realize they've dropped. It's one of those accelerating factors.
And they can keep you on track when you maybe go from the practicing realm into competition and you start to apply the things that you're working on. They can also be there to give you feedback. Oh, okay, so that didn't quite work out. So now when we take that feedback, let's adjust how we're training and how we're preparing so we can be better prepared for the next round. And we're sort of building, it's a constant cycle.
So I think a lot of people fall into the trap of they get quite competent in something and they know what they've got to do. And then they kind of think, oh, well, I don't really need coaching anymore. And I think that's the point where people lose the plot, because good coaching and like good student kind of working harmony is about, you get to a point where you do know pretty much everything, but then it's about having the right kind of advice at the right time to, basically get where you got to go.
Yeah, and an athlete's competition, as they progress, things are going to change, like who you're competing against, where you're competing. There's going to be so many new factors that come into play as you progress. And so sort of this, maybe you were good at a junior level, but then if you're trying to go to compete against adults, things are going to be different. And if you don't have the right person maybe there to guide you or give you feedback on some new challenges, it could really hurt your confidence and bring you back to where you started, or derail you a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So enough on that one. Look, last kind of point of content, defining success in terms of processes and winning. Now, this is a hard one for people to understand, right? So I'm just going to say it, and then we'll kind of see if we can break it down into understandable bits. But yes, I believe that if you're a winner, you win more.
Yeah.
But what is winning? This is the weird thing. And some people say, well, it's holding up. You're the person that finishes above everyone else. Yes, that's one form of winning. That's the winning that we have been taught is the only form of winning, which is a load of horse poo. There is a bunch of different things that you can win at. You can win at putting in, like we said, quality plans and training and effort each week. You can win at feeling like a winner before you go into a competition and do a good job of that. So people take this message the wrong way. My first message is be a winner and you'll win more, right? But to get that cycle happening, it has to be a lot of small winnable steps. Anything you want to add on that?
Yeah, it sounds great. I like that little bit of a change on the mindset. So if I can base winning on the actions that I'm taking, as opposed to if I win or not, or if I get a sponsorship deal or I win prize money, if I'm more being guided by the actions that I'm taking, then we can get that instant success. And that sort of can drive you through maybe times when you don't have external success and you don't win or you play poorly.
Yeah.
But if you're still taking the correct actions, then it's almost like you are still winning. And I think if I knew I was a type of athlete that regardless of what happens on the day and regardless of how I'm feeling, I'm the type of athlete that still takes the correct actions and I still use my values and I still have the correct why that we've talked about. There's almost like, regardless, nothing can really touch me. So that can give me a lot of confidence to approach any competition.
I mean, ideally, what I want people to experience is so they feel like there's no way really for them to lose. They feel so kind of like secure with these processes that they're working on, and that even if it doesn't turn out, they feel like they have accomplished so much. And people don't really wrap their head around that the right way, and they think, well, that's just being comfortable with coming second, and it's not about that at all.
No. Yeah. It's controlling what you can control. So we can control our goals and our values and the actions we take using those. And if you do that and you turn up to a competition, I think you're a winner. Okay? And you take the feedback and you move to the next competition.
So we do waffle on, you and I. So now let's get some tips and some techniques for people to launch straight into their weekly setup. So tip number 1, talk to us about body language. What do you got there?
Yeah. So this is a great one, linking to that, where it's a goal that you can have in your control.
Body language, sit up. Yeah.
Yeah. So how you do that on any given day of competition or training is very much something that you have control over. So I remember listening to an interview with Rory McIlroy where he talked about, I think it was in the US Open, he had a body language goal to keep his eye level above the heads of the crowd for the whole tournament. So what that sort of did was sort of stopped him from sort of slouching in, stopped him from looking down at the ground. Yeah. And it's completely in his control, regardless of what score he shot. And I think it would have a lot of really good ripple effects on his mindset and really keeping him in the moment, like really keeping him mindful on the present. What am I doing? How am I reacting to the shots? Okay, I got to get back to my body language goal. And I think if you're working on something like that for every competition, it just gives you an advantage, because a lot of athletes.
It's nothing new as well. Anthony Robbins has been banging on about that for years. I mean, I'll do my best American accent. He's like, okay, guys, you got to get into a peak state and you got to get your physiology into a powerful state, you know? So
Yeah.
it's nothing new, but it's just, yeah, it's a great one that
Yeah.
people kind of forget to work on.
hmm And it just brings you back into the present and go, okay, shoulders back, confident body language.
Yeah.
Go
Oh, it's
from
just something stick in your memory. This awesome physio that was in one of the gyms. He used to just say, good posture for you. And he was talking from a postural point of view, but it's like shoulders up, back, and down just to set your position. And I think that's a great kind of mental position as well for you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next one. We're talking about the bank account. We talked about the bank account last week. So we've got in debt, even, or positive. So this week's about getting into the positive with your confidence bank account. Now, the key here is I want people making small deposits daily, right? I want people, if they want to really buy into how this all works, I want them understanding and researching a little bit about compounding and the effect of compounding. And it's just massive. It'll stack up. And then if you do smart things like record your successes, record your practice, record what's going on there, you'll see the bank account of confidence going up. And then we talked about this before we got on today. It's like you see a lot of winners in competition, and what is the lead up scenario? Normally it's like, oh yeah, you know, a few competitions ago I just had a really good win there right at the end, and it got me into the next round. And then you know, the next two tournaments or competitions just really kicked on for me, and I came 15th, and then I came 7th, and then I was just feeling good coming into this one. Everything was there. It's just a matter of time, you know?
Yeah, there was a long line of bank deposits that went in before this big win.
Yeah.
Didn't come out of nowhere. There was quality actions leading to little deposits for a long time, day in, day out, consistently. And then you say, oh, this guy, how'd he win this tournament? Or how'd they win that race? They come out of nowhere. You're like, well, that's where maybe some people, you don't see these little deposits going in every day. It's something maybe that you don't get the reward straight away, but that's how you build up to the big success that all athletes are working towards.
So, like, even in your mind, if you visualize your bank account and you see, you know, damn, I'm going into this competition with like 10 grand of confidence. This feels great, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be a nice end result for us to kind of impart towards people. Yep. Now, look, last tip or technique. What do you think there? We had down as a note of getting some wins and compounding. I guess we basically talked about that already.
Yeah, and then if we are doing lots of quality things and turning up every day, and then maybe we add that with a little bit of luck, I think that's when we can start to see some really big success. And they go, oh, wow, how'd you get so lucky? Or what have you done to get that? And you're like, well, I've been working on this confidence stuff day in, day out for a long time.
Yeah. The old luck one. I think we'll talk more about luck in another one. Maybe that's our topic for next time.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. It links into all of these videos link in, you know, all of these principles, what they always do. So
it just makes me like, I worked with this guy once and he was like convinced that he was the unluckiest competitor in the universe. Convinced. And sure enough, I mean, I think that belief made him unlucky. Yeah.
He probably was taking a lot of deductions from his bank account.
His bank account was not growing in confidence. Yeah.
Right.
All right. So confidence building, confidence suckers. You've got two different kind of angles to look at confidence. 0 to 10, 7 out of 10 or better is a good number to keep your confidence at if you're going to attack something with a lot of authority and have some good predictability about whether you're going to be any good.
Yep.
So bunch of stuff there. I'd like to see people leave a few comments as well. Look, we're not, you know, we don't have 1 million followers at this point, so we'll get back to you and, you know, give you a little bit of response there if you've got some interesting ideas about how confidence works with your particular sport or what you've noticed maybe in a competitor or something like that. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
And then also maybe some comments about some interesting athletes you'd like to see Jordan and I interviewed down the track. How about that? Maybe we'll start with Roger Federer. What do you reckon?
Yeah, send him an email.
All right, thanks for watching, everyone. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, and I shouldn't even have to ask you to do that. That's appalling that I have to ask you. You should have done that already.
Perfect. I think I'm confident we'll grow. We'll get there.
Thanks, people. See you in the next one.